Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another broadcast of The Weekly with me, Neff. Please subscribe to the channel and share this video with a couple of friends and colleagues. We're trying to reach 1,000 subscriptions, and every subscription helps us out with that goal. News regarding the X-Men reboot. This is going to be a very interesting situation for Marvel Studios at this point in time and Disney. And for those that are not aware, Disney purchased 20th Century Fox, so now it's just 20th Century Studios, but Disney is in control of all of this, and so they got the rights, obviously, of X-Men, Deadpool, and Wolverine characters like that, Alien, and even Predator. So interesting how much they acquired there, but now the next task for Disney and Marvel Studios is to reboot X-Men. I've talked about X-Men a couple times. Obviously, we talked about the mutant saga and what Kevin Feige is actually trying to accomplish with that, and really Kevin Feige is just a front man. He's a producer, to be quite honest. So we're going to have to see what's happening on the back end, but the production grid tells me something, ladies and gentlemen. It's like the crystal ball. Let's jump into this news from it. So currently the X-Men reboot is untitled at this moment, in development, pre-production, and we're going to get shooting on this film on October 6th, 2025. Location is going to be London, England. Once again, London, England popping up. Once again, we talked about how that location is very incentive-based for these studios, especially Marvel. Obviously, union rules are different. A lot of the prop work that happens and stage setup work is some of the best work that you've seen in cinema. So a lot of that does happen over in England. Pinewood Studios definitely rings a bell. And let's look at the project summary so far. Charles Xavier's team of merry mutants is charged with the mission of protecting a world that hates and fears them for their unusual appearances and abilities. Now, with that being said, that's pretty vague. Obviously, that's every X-Men film when you're going into it. The thing that makes this extremely interesting to me is the fact that they're going to actually be implementing elements of X-Men in Avengers Doomsday and more than likely Secret Wars as well. This is going to be very interesting. We do know that Sadie Sink is attached to this film. More than likely, she is playing Jean Grey. We don't have too much more about casting, but we do have some writers attached. So we have Raphael Judkins, he's writing, and Michael Leslie is also writing this film. We don't have a director, no production list as far as producers or anything like that. So really, this is early stages of development. Obviously, they came out, Marvel Studios that is, and said, you know, we are doing an X-Men reboot, and we're just trying to circle the wagons to try to figure out what direction we are going in with it. But it's going to be very interesting. Obviously, we're just trying to surmise and speculate on when are we actually going to introduce some of these newer X-Men characters. Are we going to do this in Doomsday? At this point, we know that Patrick Stewart is coming back to reprise his role as Professor X, Charles Xavier himself, and Ian McKellen is coming back as Magneto. So I wonder if they're going to try to sprinkle in some of the new X-Men in this reboot in over with these films. And seeing as how this film is shooting at the end of 2025, when are we going to be looking at a release date for this film? I feel like if you're doing an X-Men film, obviously when all the parts get synchronized, you're going to be starting the shooting in October of 2025. You might shoot for about, I want to say 4 to 5 months, right? Gives us a timeline there. After that, you're probably going to have 5 to 6 months of post-production. I'm thinking you're going to see this X-Men film sometime either late 2026 or early 2027, but it all depends on the slate. We will get more information on this. Right now, we are extremely early to the news. We have CinemaCon going on right now. Maybe we can get some more information and tidbits from that as far as future projects. I did notice with CinemaCon, they are projecting projects that are at least 2 years out, so I would not be surprised if you get anything regarding X-Men, to be honest, because a lot of things they've been talking about with different studios. I know Lionsgate just went, Sony just went. They're talking about projects that are 2 and 3 years out from now. So I think it'd be interesting if Disney and Marvel, you know, put their hat in the arena there and they say, this is what we got coming. Here's the information we got, maybe some more cast members that we didn't know about before. As I said, regarding this production, we only really know that Sadie Sink has been signed on. We don't know anything about anybody else. So they've really been tight-lipped with everything going into this new X-Men reboot. As I stated earlier, the mutant saga is definitely on the table. It'd be cool to see Mr. Sinister, to be honest. It'd definitely be a different take on X-Men. I think they're going to go from a younger stage of characters and then move on through like maybe another trilogy possibly where you actually age with the characters, which makes a lot of sense as well. I don't think it's going to be an older cast like what you saw in the original X-Men film and X2 or anything like that. I think it's going to be a younger set of characters. I will say that as far as the X-Men property, there is a lot of work to be done. X-Men has had some solid films over the years, but I do think, and I think many of you would agree with me, that the last good X-Men film was Days of Future Past. Probably, if not my favorite, one of my favorite X-Men films, and I'm not really the biggest X-Men fan. If anything regarding X-Men, I'm really into the animated X-Men stuff. Very cool. The live action doesn't seem to be as good as the animated stuff. I heard X-Men 97 was great. Still something that I have to check out, but it's on my radar. And so all in all, this X-Men property and the new X-Men that they're going to be reintroducing with Marvel Studios, it's going to be a big experiment, to be quite honest. X-Men has been around for a long time. X-Men does have a built-in fan base, but it definitely needs to be done right. After Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix, things just fell apart overall, and I think everyone agrees with me on that. So we will see what the future holds. I'll be checking out the grid. Any new information I get regarding this new X-Men reboot, I'll definitely be letting everybody know. Ladies and gents, please subscribe to the channel and share this video. Like this video and ring the bell for notifications. With that being said, it's Neff signing off. Be safe.